what goals did you set for 2025? If better sleep is one, Symbiotica's magnesium L-threonate helps you wake up refreshed. For gut health, their glutathione supports digestion and reduces bloating. Symbiotica is one of the most transparent brands out there, never compromising on quality or sourcing. Their products are free from seed oils, preservatives, toxins, and artificial additives, something you can taste and feel in every packet. Go to Symbiotica.com and use code IHEART for 20% off and free shipping. That's Symbiotica.com, code IHEART.
Hey, it's Bobby Bones with some exciting news. Open booking is here for the Top Shelf Country Cruise, setting sail February 2026 aboard the luxurious Celebrity Reflection. Spots are filling up fast, so book your stateroom today or sign up to become a lineup insider to receive the final lineup 48 hours prior to the public. Don't miss your chance to make February 2026 unforgettable. Visit TopShelfCountryCruise.com. That's TopShelfCountryCruise.com.
And so I said, well, if I didn't ever say stop, you would technically grate all that cheese onto my pasta, right?
Uh-huh.
And so she says, this is the storeroom. You can't have all of this.
Man, so much for if you're here, your family.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I hear you. What about faker? Can I say he's a big faker? Well, no, it's not the same thing. It's a totally different word.
Hey, Cecil, what's Eli doing?
Oh, Eli's essay this week is on Uri Geller.
Oh, the notoriously litigious and ridiculous spoonbender?
Yeah, man, that's the one.
Yep.
Okay, but what I'm saying is nobody knows if he killed JFK. So how could
And he's on the phone with...
Our lawyer, Andrew.
Right. Yep.
And I'm guessing Eli wasn't exactly careful with his language about Mr. Geller.
No, he was not, Heath. No, he was not.
Right.
That's why we have this phone call.
Got it. Yep.
So he's on the... Yep.
Okay, well, nobody has seen him not eat his own poop. This is so confusing.
Ah, poor Andrew.
Hey, while we wait, how much cheese do you guys think is like a reasonable amount?
Dude, I read about what happened to you in the paper, and I told you I don't want to be involved.
Fine.
I don't want to be involved in it.
Is it true you ate a pepper spray?
Yes.
Yeah, how was it? I've always wanted to try that.
Well, I can't take your legal advice if you won't stop crying.
He's not crying. That's his normal voice. Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm Cecil, and it's Eli's turn this week, so that means it was about a 90% chance it was a magician or a con artist. Why not both, right?
They say write what you know, Cecil. They say
I
write
guess.
what you know.
Right. So let me introduce the panel. First up, two guys who eat so fast their spoons bend without psychic powers, Heath and Tom.
Okay, they keep the pints of ice cream too cold in
They
the
do.
freezer. That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
that is
It's
true.
too hard.
They do.
It's too much.
Yeah.
I'm using a spackle knife.
See, so when I have truly mastered speed eating, there will be no spoon.
And since imitation is the most sincere form of flattery, let me introduce our cast, Johnny Carson and Uri Geller, Noah and Eli.
Wait, hold on. I quit smoking. There's no money for Lucinda to take in a divorce. I don't get it. How am I?
I think he's talking about you exposing me as a grifter and a fraud to millions of people.
Oh, yeah, no, okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, minus the millions, sure. Yeah.
24 of people.
Patrons, without you, we would all be spoon-bending grifters. For less than the price of a cup of coffee a day, you can save countless spoons a year. If you'd like to learn how to save more spoons, be sure to stick around till the end of the show. And with that out of the way, tell us, Noah, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
Spoon-bending grifters, Cecil. Specifically, Uri Geller.
Okay. And Eli, are you ready to tell us about the Steven Seagal of spoon bending?
Our sweaty legal team says they can't physically stop me, Cecil. So, yes, I am.
All right, Eli, who was or is Uri Geller?
Well, Cecil, depending on who you believe, he's either an ambassador sent by extraterrestrials from a spaceship called the Spectra, located some 53,000 light years away, to prepare Earthlings for the conquest of our planet, or he's a con man and a fraud who impossibly managed to sink lower than a professional magician. You decide.
You may absolutely not decide.
And this still remains the most plausible setup for one of Eli's essays to date. So
There is a Finland, yes.
That's fair. That is fair. So, born on 20th of December, 1946, Geller is the son of Itzhak Geller, a retired Army Sergeant Major, and Margaret Manzi Freud. Geller claims that he's actually a distant relative of Sigmund Freud on his mother's side. He's not, but trust me, that is the least of the things he's going to claim. So just throw that out there. He also claims his mother had been pregnant 8 times before she had him, but each pregnancy resulted in an abortion.
What? Did she work at a coat hanger factory? What is happening?
I got to know, like, what was it about the 9th pregnancy that was the game changer? You're just like, all right. I'm getting tired, really. It's just let it happen.
Yeah, that's the 3rd strike of the 3 outs. I get it. Just playing the whole inning. So Uri had a relatively normal childhood. That is, until Christmas Day, when he was just 3 years old, when he was given magic powers by aliens. So according to Geller, quote, I felt something above me and looked up. I saw a ball of light. It wasn't the sun. It was something more massive. Something that you could touch.
Oh, not the sun. Got it. No, I thought it was going to be stupid. Okay.
It was something more massive. Something you could touch. It was really weird.
Wait, no, it's one or the other.
Those are. Yeah.
It was really weird. Like a sphere just hanging there, shining and strobing. And then
That still sounds like the sun. This very much sounds like the sun. I'm not sold this isn't the sun.
And then
I think this is Donald Trump during an eclipse. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening.
And then it gently and silently drifted down towards the ground. Then something struck me. It was like a beam or a ray of light. It really hit my forehead and knocked me back into the grass.
Well, then it wasn't like a ray of fucking light.
From that moment on, Geller could bend metal with his mind.
Jesus.
He could read people's thoughts and do other things that look exactly like magic tricks, but totally aren't.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when you meet the Loch Ness Monster, but he's all rubbery and fake looking, and you're like, God damn it.
And he could even think of any drink at all, and it would show up in his sippy cup as a 3-year-old. Impressive. I mean, he always thought of apple juice, but still, it worked.
So, after a brief stint in the Israeli military, he worked as a model for 2 years before he fell into a career in the nightclub circuit as a magician and mind reader, where he rose quickly to stardom, earning the praise of celebrities and even the prime minister at the time, Golda Meir, who joked about using his psychic powers to predict the future.
And fun fact, Golda Meir would use her magic powers to go all over the world murdering Nazis and then telling the UN exactly how hard they could fuck themselves when they asked her to stop. That's true. She's fun.
She would. Yeah. So here's the thing. Uri Geller is a great magician. He has created a tremendous amount of modern mental magic that performers still use today. I mean, he's best known for bending spoons with his mind, but he fucking invented that shit. And it looks great.
Wait, are you sure? Because I've seen you do that trick, and it was not impressive.
Okay. You know what? Oh, shit. Tough but
You
fair.
hurt yourself
tough but
with
fair.
the spoon. You hurt yourself a lot.
I did. It's a hard memory. I tried to do it
It's
on
a
the
hard
radio
spoon.
once. It's a lot of painful stuff's coming up. But YouTube spoon bending and watch someone who isn't me do it. And keep in mind that he did that shit first. Like, when he'd do a radio appearance, he'd ask people to grab old broken watches and he'd restart them with his mind over the air. And honestly, if he had done all that stuff and just been like, how about those magic tricks I came up with? That would be the end of it. He'd be like rich and famous and not a fucking douchebag.
Well, he'd probably be making balloon animals at a bar mitzvah every Saturday and going in and out of his apartment through the window to avoid his landlord. But that's rich and famous to a magician, guys. That is making
Bar
it.
mitzvah money. That's good shit, man. They pay out the ass
wait,
for
let's
those
keep
things.
Apartment money.
I mean, 1 month, but still, you know.
I'm making deposit money.
Fair enough. Fair. That's fair. But sadly, Geller couldn't help himself. And by the 1970s, he began to claim that his powers were real. And in 1971, he met just the right man for an up-and-coming fraud, Andrija Puharish.
What?
Now, Puharish would almost be worth his own citation needed essay if his entire life
I'm
couldn't
sure he
be
will
summed
be
up with
one
the
day.
sentence, "What if that guy who overreacts to every magic trick worked for military intelligence?"
I know this one. He'd be promoted.
So
Nailed
Puharish
it.
never met a fraud he wasn't fooled by, and Geller was no exception. Puharish claimed to have tested Geller thoroughly, helped him reclaim his lost memories of extraterrestrial contact under hypnosis, and even claims to have seen Geller teleport a dog through a wall.
Oh, please say that aliens helped him teleport that dog and it was a Scotty dog. Please say it was a Scotty dog.
I don't know. I feel like the dog did all the work on that one.
Right? Absolutely. Where's the dog nightclub act? So
He did the whole thing just by asking, do you want to go outside? Do you want to go outside? Do you want to go outside?
Puharish even wrote a biography about Geller called Uri, a journal of the mystery of Uri Geller, in which he expanded on Geller's extraterrestrial claims, saying that, quote, Geller had communicated with super intelligent computers from outer space, end quote.
What?
According to Puharish, the computers sent messages to warn humanity that a disaster is likely to occur if humans do not change their ways.
That's true.
Oh, yeah? Just the one disaster? You go ahead and get a better computer, aliens.
So Puharish was so confident in Geller's abilities that he arranged for him to be tested in August of 1973 at the Stanford Research Institute by parapsychologists Harold E. Puthoff and Russell Targ. Now, I should point out, these guys are parapsychologists, which is kind of like being a psychologist, the way being a paraplegic is like being a jogger. And I gotta say, most of the stuff you read about these experiments is credulous as fuck. I mean, right there on the Wikipedia page, there's a video about the experience, and in it, they mention that Uri Geller was able to duplicate a drawing while sealed in a room with no way to see the target, which was then put in not one, but 2 envelopes. But what the video does not mention is that, quote, Geller was allowed to peek through a hole in the laboratory wall, separating him from the drawings he was being invited to reproduce. The drawings he was asked to reproduce were placed on a wall opposite the peephole, which investigators, Targ and Puthoff, had stuffed with cotton gauze.
Okay, listen, part of the magic is staring at cotton. You guys wouldn't understand it. It's a magic thing. I need this.
In addition to this error, the investigators had also allowed Geller access to a 2-way intercom, enabling Geller to listen to the investigators' conversation during the times when they were choosing and or displaying the target drawings. On top of that, the 2 scientists in charge of the tests both already believed in Geller's powers and seemed to be aware at times that they were seeing a magic trick.
Okay, let me see your card.
What?
Here's your card back. Is it the 5 of clubs? It was the 5 of clubs, wasn't it? It's the 5 of clubs.
Right. Well, so they thought his powers were like a female orgasm? Like no, they're real for real. But just like sometimes it's easier to fake that shit and get the test over with. So I just want to know what their theory of the fucking case was here.
This wasn't on the Wikipedia page, but it is in the James Randi book about Uri Geller. He gets through all the problems with that experiment, and then at the end he's like, also, his manager was maybe there. No one's sure. So maybe his fucking buddy was just like standing in the room being like, hey, Uri, spaceship. Anyways, I'll see you after these tests. But it was the 70s. And as we've demonstrated on this show countless times, people always have been and always will be gullible rubes who roll around on nuclear material like a dog on a wet turd if they find some. So Geller's proven psychic powers were reported in every newspaper that had space to fill on a Wednesday. But not all people. And it's at this point in our story that Geller would meet his match in a skeptic and magician by the name of James Randi, who would take him down in a very public way.
Wow. Remember when people reported on things that weren't the coronavirus? God, that was amazing. Anyway, time for some apropos of nothing.
Hello and welcome to 1970s Talk Show. I am a convicted wife beater. Tonight, wow, we've got a fellow, oh boy, he's a real doozy, mystery man, Uri Geller, and skeptic doubter, and overall meanie pants, no illusions.
Wow, were late night talk show hosts really that bad at talking?
They were. Now look it up. Go ahead. Okay. Now Uri, you were okay. You gonna do some things for us, right? Something? Ben?
Indeed
Russ?
I am, my friend. Indeed I am. You, madam.
Yeah, what the fuck do you want?
Is it true that you like both things and stuff?
Oh my fucking god! This guy's a fucking psychic!
Wow, that is really something. Look at that.
No, it is not something he did. Absolutely nothing. Look, excuse me, same lady.
Yeah, what do you want?
Do you like stuff and things?
No, not really. No.
Oh, fuck it. Okay, he says he can move stuff with his mind, right? Move this pencil with your mind.
Of course. Let me see it real quick. Just give it to me.
No, without touching it.
Oh,
Oh my fucking god, it moved! Did you see it move?
I hate all of you so fucking much.
Well, when we left off, scientists were testing Uri Geller way more rigorously than we tested hydroxychloroquine. What happened next, Eli?
all right. So the year was 1973. Geller had fooled the greatest scientific minds that already believed he could do what we said he could. So it was only natural that he should be invited on the Johnny Carson show to display his talents. What he didn't know was that he was being set up to look like an absolute ass in front of millions of people. See, Johnny Carson was an amateur magician himself, and the whole "my powers are real and I fooled the scientist" shtick was honing in on Carson's Karnak bit. So Johnny Carson reached out to James Randi for advice on how to prevent trickery.
Okay, Johnny, got it. We're going to make sure no trickery happens. Step one, and I get if this is going to take a while, but you got to do this. You got to remove all the glory holes in the studio. That's
Now, spoiler alert, in order to explain this next part of the story, I am going to have to reveal how metal bending works. So if you don't want that magic trick spoiled for you, go ahead and forward past this next part.
Well, 9/11 truthers think it has to get up to the melting point for that. So,
yeah. And by the way, just a quick aside before you do your big reveal, Eli. Audience, if you've ever seen somebody do this trick and not figured out how they were doing it, shame on you. Just shame on you.
Okay. All right. I'll raise my hand. I'll admit I've never once figured out a single magic trick ever. To be fair, though, I also don't know how my TV works, but I'm still pretty damn sure it's not a series of tiny actors putting on little plays just for me. So,
well, if you watch Tom Cruise, it is at least one tiny little actor. Okay, so the way that metal bending is done is he bends it when you aren't looking.
Yep.
And if that seems overly simple, audience.
Or when he thinks you're not looking at it.
Yep, exactly. And if that seems overly simple, you are really underestimating the amount of time people in general aren't looking, even when they think they're looking. So Randy tells Carson this, and his advice is, hey man, don't let him fucking touch anything, which I can verify makes it very, very hard to bend shit when people aren't looking.
I feel like you made a big deal before about how Geller invented that. What's that over there? Oh, never mind. It was nothing. I'm Magneto. That's not an invention. That's nothing.
Heath, in magic, that's a revolution, my friend.
man, then I chose the wrong career.
Yeah, you could be making Eli money. So.
So here's how Adam Higginbottom of the New York Times described the result. Quote, "The result was a legendary immolation in which Geller offered up flustered excuses to his host as his abilities failed him again and again. I sat there for 22 minutes, humiliated," Geller told me when I spoke to him in September. "I went back to my hotel, devastated. I was about to pack up the next day and go back to Tel Aviv. I thought, that's it. I'm destroyed."
It's the greatest video ever, by the way, the Carson video. You got to watch it. You get to watch Geller find out in real time that Carson won't let him cheat because he checked with James Randi about how to prevent cheating. And then you get to watch Uri Geller realize that actual magic is the only solution to get him out of this. So Geller's like, oh, fuck, all right. Magic. I'm actually really tired today, Johnny.
Yeah, but Heath, I like that he tried though. You know, like he didn't just immediately throw in the towel. Like, okay, I don't. Like maybe he was just sitting there like, well, it just needs to work once. It just one time.
Yeah.
Gimme. I just need a one gimme, and I'm gold forever.
So sadly, Geller was not destroyed. According to the Times, quote, to Geller's astonishment, he was immediately booked on the Merv Griffin show. He was on his way to becoming a paranormal superstar. That Johnny Carson show made Uri Geller, Geller said. To an enthusiastically trusting public, his failure only made his gift seem more real. If he were performing magic tricks, they would surely have worked every time.
Failure
Wow.
makes you a real life wizard. Our president would be the king of Hogwarts or whatever.
So this public failure and the fame that followed it led Geller to the grift that would secure his fortune: mineral dowsing for several mining groups. Now, Geller
Jesus.
claims to charge £1 million for this service, which is probably a lie, but in June of 1986, the Australian Skeptic reported that Geller had been paid 350,000 Australian dollars and then had been granted an option of 1,250,000 shares of Xanac at 20 cents each for his services. So, considering that dowsing is standing there holding two sticks that do absolutely fucking nothing, that's a pretty sweet gig.
Hell yeah, man. It's like fucking playing drums for a rock band in the 80s.
And again, I choose the wrong career. Twice again.
Except for Phil Collins.
Well, yeah, but not Phil Collins.
Luckily for us, Geller has spent the rest of his career making an absolute fool of himself. So in 1992, Geller was asked to use his psychic powers to locate the Hungarian model Helga Farkas, who had been kidnapped. He predicted that she would be found alive and in good health, but she was never found and is widely believed to have been murdered by her kidnappers.
Okay, so he used psychic powers to predict she'd be found in a location called somewhere. And he got that wrong.
Yeah, right.
That's actually impressive somehow.
Yeah.
He's just like, well, where was the last place you used her? Did you retrace your steps? Yeah, oh, no.
Check the
Lost.
fridge.
Look up
So
top.
in
Look
19
high. You always got to look high because you leave it up high and you're not looking
You gotta
high.
move stuff around when you're looking.
In 1997, he promised to help the second division football club Exeter City win a crucial end of season game by placing energy infused crystals behind the goals. Exeter, Exeter lost the game 5-1.
Yeah, he also thought Bend It Like Beckham was a challenge and spent 4 hours rubbing a soccer ball too.
Somebody just put regular crystals behind the goals too. It canceled them out, I guess.
Geller also starred in the absolutely terrible horror film Sanitarium in 2001, though it's unclear if he was just trying to check himself in and there was a confusion. In May of 2002, he appeared as a contestant on the first series of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. And they did. He was actually the first to be eliminated.
He wasn't eliminated, Eli. He escaped. Whoa.
He also has launched several versions of a reality talent show called The Next Uri Geller
What?
across multiple countries and languages. And these shows are all fantastically terrible because the contestants pretend they have real powers. And on the show, so does Uri. But it's a fucking talent show like American Idol. So he has to end every elimination by being like, I guess your psychic powers weren't as good as this other guy's this week. This is a stupid show. I mean, this is stupid.
Once again, name that dog ends in a 0, 0, 5.
He also loves to sue people. He sued James Randi multiple times for pointing out that he's a fraud. The only time he's come close to success, fun fact, was in Japan, where the court ruled one of Randi's statements as an insult as opposed to libel and awarded a token judgment against him, paying Geller only, quote, 1/3 of 1% of what he demanded, end quote. And since the charge of insult is only recognized in Chinese and Japanese law, Randi was not required to pay.
That's crazy. You guys, we should start billing vulgarity for charity as banned in multiple countries like they used to do with the UFC.
Absolutely. That's awesome. 100%.
So
Apropos
edgy.
of nothing, Ben Shapiro is suing himself in Japan right now. It's fine.
Again, in 1992, Geller filed a $15 million lawsuit against Randy and his organization. Here's how well that went. Quote, in 1994, Geller asked to dismiss without prejudice, and he was ordered to pay $50,000 for the publisher's attorney's fees. After not paying in time, Geller was sanctioned with an additional $20,000, and due to the sanction, the suit was dismissed with prejudice, which, according to Randy's attorneys, means that Geller cannot pursue the same suit in any other jurisdiction, end quote. But he hasn't just sued people for pointing out he's a fraud. He's also pretty sure he owns the idea of a spoon that's bent. In 1991, Geller sued Timex for an ad that featured someone bending spoons and forks, but failing to stop a Timex watch. Geller was sanctioned $149,000 for filing a frivolous lawsuit. He also threatened to sue IKEA for a line of furniture they called the Uri line. But my favorite example of Geller's lawsuit filing proclivity is from the year 2000, when he sued Nintendo over a Pokemon.
What?
Let me explain. There is a character in Pokemon named Kadabra. This psychic-type Pokemon carries a bent spoon, and Geller also claims that the star on Kadabra's forehead and the lightning patterns on its abdomen are Nazi symbols.
What?
So, about this lawsuit, he told the BBC in 2002, quote, Nintendo turned me into an evil occult Pokemon character. Nintendo stole my identity by using my name and my signature image, end quote. Now, fun fact, as a result, a Kadabra Pokemon card has not been put out since 2002, and as a result, they are extremely rare and valuable.
Amazing.
He also tried to sue the Wachowskis over that scene in The Matrix, but the judge ruled there was no spoon.
So Geller has walked his claims about whether or not his powers are real back and forth more times than a Trump press secretary. He told a German newspaper he was just a magician, but then he took it back. He appeared at a magic convention in 2007, but while on stage, he spent 20 minutes asking if he was fake. Why had he fooled all the scientists?
Okay, if I'm a magician, then why am I here?
Somebody has to tell him, hey, Yuri, insane clown posse does not count as all the scientists. That's not the same.
Fun fact, by the way, for the record, even though Geller's previous managers and accomplices have unequivocally exposed him as a fraud and his powers are trickery, he's actually only been caught on camera once, and it was by accident. In 1996, Noel Edmonds, the comedian, set up for a candid camera-esque stunt on his show, Noel's House Party. The planned prank was that Uri Geller was going to perform and then stuff would fall off the walls and fly around the room, but the cameras accidentally just caught Geller from the wrong angle and very clearly exposed him bending the spoon when people weren't looking, so they showed that instead.
Amazing. I feel like you could argue the Johnny Carson thing also counts as getting caught on camera, but yeah.
I don't know if you were paying attention, though, Noah. You see, when the magic doesn't work, that's proof you're not lying about having working magic. And this time, it was just proof that magic needed, a booster seat.
Right, okay.
And then it would have been, it's just...
That's fair. That is fair. So today, Uri Geller lives on an incredibly shitty, sad private island off the eastern coast of Scotland. He claims that buried on the island is an Egyptian treasure brought there by Skoda, the mythological half-sister of Tutankhamun in Irish mythology. Anyway, Skoda brought it there 3,500 years ago, and that he is going to find that treasure with dowsing.
Okay, point of clarification. Irish mythology has a character with an Egyptian half-sister? I've got a lot more reading to do. I feel very messed up.
The Egyptian treasure is just a 3,500-year-old bent spoon with a cease and desist letter next to it.
In 2014, a 12-foot-tall statue of a gorilla made from approximately 40,000 metal spoons was unveiled in Geller's Berkshire garden by the Duke of Kent. Statue was intended to be donated to a hospital, but in typical Geller style, from what I can tell, it's still in his house.
Really?
Yeah. At the unveiling, Geller introduced the statue in the most Uri Geller way possible by saying, quote, "This will not raise money for charity. It will do something better. It will amaze sick children."
What?
It won't help. It'll amaze.
All right, Eli, if you had to summarize what you learned in one sentence, what would it be?
Uri Geller is a fraud. Pretty, please sue me.
Are you ready for the quiz?
Absolutely.
All right, Eli, I have a question for you. If Uri Geller was mangled in a terrible accident and screamed a lot, he would be a gory yeller. And gory would have to be pronounced gory for that to work perfectly. It's a bent spoonerism, and that's pretty solid. Anyway, that's completely unrelated to my question. I wanted to point it out. So my question to you is, what should have been the signature way that Uri Geller kicked people off of his psychic reality show? A, saying, "Uri, move." B, bending them when nobody was looking. C, just sitting back and saying, "Well, we're all psychic, so we all know who's out." And then you wait for somebody to leave or risk the client not being psychic. Or D, getting the show canceled in multiple languages.
Oh, see, D is true, but B has my heart. I'm going to go with B, bending them when nobody was looking.
That is correct. Yeah, it's going to come out in a Me Too thing eventually, I'm sure.
All right, Eli. If you could have any one legitimate magical ability, which one would you choose? A, flight. B, invisibility. C, time travel. D, cutlery twisting. E, don't tell me, I read minds. I bet you don't choose D.
Well, based on the feedback I've gotten about my magic performances from Noah, I'm going to choose D.
I'm a superhero. I mostly just, make spoons so that you make, Bass and
Hard to
Guinness,
eat
little
soup.
half and half, black and tan. Yeah,
I can unbend them too.
I just make heroin spoons. That's just what I do.
that's
You can
awesome.
unbend a heroin spoon and then you can have it. You can use it for cereal.
All right, Eli, I got one more for you. When will Uri Geller die? A, when a late night host surprises him with a challenge to unbend a soup ladle. B, when he's getting fed at a nursing home and finally pulls off the magic bend and he chokes. Or C, not a moment to spoon.
I'm going to go with C, not a moment to spoon.
Incorrect. No.
Oh, wow.
Soup ladle.
You almost had it there, but Heath is the winner this week.
Thank you. All right, next week, let's get some information from Noah.
Oh, sounds great.
See, if you want to be the essayist, you just have to laugh the loudest at Heath's jokes.
All right, well, for Tom, Noah, Heath, and Eli, I'm Cecil, thanking you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week, and by then, Noah will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can listen to all our other shows, and you can find out all about them on our website. And if you'd like to keep this show going, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. Just write "preventing another spoon-bending grifter" in the check on the memo section when you do it. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes. Be sure to check out citationpod.com. And remember, not all con men are magicians, but all magicians are con men.
And you see, right here, this is your lifeline. It says you will have a long, long life.
Oh, I will? Wow, it's fucking
None
amazing.
of this is real.
Don't listen to him. He has phone sex with teenage boys.
I told you that was for the cops.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
totally
sure
true.
fucking was.
Man, I hope people get that joke.